you go. I got it for you.
All right, cool. All right. So let's talk about evolution. First, let's define what evolution is.
Okay, so evolution is different than the theory of evolution by natural selection. All right, when I say evolution, and pretty much every evolutionary biologist says it, they mean that it's an observed change, or it is a change that has happened in the characteristics of a population over time.
A
Do you
population?
understand that?
Yeah, so you're saying a change happens within a population. So if you say a population is like a bunch of giraffes, you're saying evolution is observing a change within the population of the giraffes?
Within a population and all of its descendants.
Okay.
That
Well,
is the course. No, listen. That is the movement of the evolution. That is the
direction.
movement of the population. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So evolution.
From the ancestors to the descendants.
So evolution has a direction.
I guess time has a direction.
Time is immaterial. There's no direction of time. So if there's changes, would you define a population is made up of a bunch of individuals that are also have changes between each other?
That have variation between each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you saying that populations themselves would be an effect produced by what you call evolution?
What do you mean by an effect?
That if populations are made up of varying individuals of the same population, of the same group of type of animal, right? That's like a giraffe is made up of a bunch of giraffes that are also variations of each other.
That can all procreate with each other, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all giraffes.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So the population itself of a giraffe was produced by evolution, right? There was a time where giraffes didn't exist the way they exist. You're saying that evolution, the process,
through change. Exist, like, are you saying the way they currently exist?
Yes, the way we look at a giraffe and say that's a giraffe and not a cow or not a dog or a shark. When we look at a giraffe as a population, there's a male and female giraffe. There's a way they operate. There's a nature to giraffes. They reproduce with each other. We call that a population of giraffes. Under the evolutionary view, did evolution, the process of changes through random mutation, produce what we see today as the giraffe?
I would say that if there is a population in the past that we know has descendants in the present day, we would know that evolution took course, even in very minor, just the change of shit that doesn't even matter, very minor stuff. Evolution is taking course from the beginning original population to the modern population, which descends from the original population.
So did evolution, the process, produce the original population?
Well, physical reality produced the original population. I don't know what.
Physical reality? Hold on a second. Physical reality is made up of rocks and clouds. Clouds didn't produce the population, right?
Aren't animals, are animals not physical?
Which part of physical reality produced the first population?
Atoms and fucking quarks and...
Atoms and quarks produced the first population?
I'm not trying to defend abiogenesis or something.
I didn't say abiogenesis.
I'm talking about evolution,
no,
evolution.
It sounds like you're saying evolution. You're saying that what we see as a population is produced by a biological genetic process called evolution. Therefore, any population you look at must be produced by...
Listen to what I said then.
Is any given...
I said that evolution is the change between a original population and
I understand.
A population.
I understand, but you're granting yourself a population. I don't grant you a population.
I'm just defining what evolution is.
Do you understand?
Between an original population and a descendant population.
Cool. Do you need populations to talk about evolution?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Biological organisms.
Yeah. So you need populations to talk about evolution. But if populations are a result of evolution, you need a mechanism of evolution to produce populations.
When did I say that populations are strictly a result of evolution?
If you
The only
tell
way
me,
they can come
tell
about
me
is through
one,
evolution. Did I say that? Did I say that?
tell me one population you're going to look at. Tell me one population you're going to look at that isn't a product of evolution from your view.
I guess a population which has descended all other populations then.
That doesn't make any sense. The descendant means populations exist. You can't descend from a non-population.
No, I mean that has parented. That is.
Yeah. So from a population.
That originates. Sorry.
Yeah. Tell me one population that doesn't originate from a previous population.
The very first population, then I would guess.
The very first population. So how did you grant yourself the very first population then?
Because if there's a population, then a second population, then a third one, then a
I didn't ask if you have a first one. Dude, I didn't.
You believe there was a first population?
Dude, I didn't ask you. I didn't ask if you grant yourself.
Do you believe that there was a first population?
Dude, what I believe is irrelevant right now. Now stay focused. You grant yourself a first population. Okay. I said, how is it from your view that you grant yourself a first population if from inductively from your evolutionary view, populations themselves have to be a product of a previous one?
When did I say that population always...
Is it inductively true from an evolutionary view that anything you're looking at as a population? Dude, stop interrupting. Shut up for a second.
I just explained what
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Okay. I asked you, can you point to any population today that you look at, a population of giraffes or anything else, that didn't come from existing populations?
Are you talking about any populations in the modern era?
Any population of individual animals that make up the population that didn't come from the previous population?
That we can observe today?
Yes.
Sure, the first population.
No, we don't observe the first population today. You just said, dude, what is wrong with your brain?
Oh, sorry, I just forgot. Talking a bit. No. We know all populations today are descended from populations.
That's right. So inductively, if you
not
can't,
alive today.
Yeah. So if inductively what you know about populations is they come from previous populations, there's no way for you to use evolution as a mechanism to produce populations because you need populations first.
Or is that a law then? Is that a law that populations always 100% always come from previous populations?
No, it's inductively true.
Oh. So it's always true. That statement is always true.
No, do you know what induction means?
You induce it from, you think of something from positive facts about.
Yeah, inductively true means it seems to be the case from derivative from a set of particulars that it's likely the case, and there's no reason to otherwise. Well, you obviously don't, because I just asked you, is it inductively true from your view that populations come from previous populations? The answer is yes, right?
That the populations today or the populations?
Any population you know of, bro. Any population you can conceive of from your view of evolution being the cause of variation among organisms. Is there any example of a population that doesn't come from something before it that's also part of a population?
Not that we currently observe.
Okay, cool.
Today.
Okay, so when I look at giraffes and you say evolution produced the population of giraffes, what you're saying is that previous animals that existed.
I didn't say evolution produced the population of giraffes. I just said evolution occurred from the original ancestor of the giraffe to the current giraffe.
So you mean it produced the current giraffe?
Evolution? No, it just is the name for what changed between the original
so the change
and the
yes
current draft.
So the change is an effect of a process, right? The current existence of giraffes, which you're saying is a change, a type of change, comes from a different type of existence of a giraffe.
I guess evolution would be a category of change.
Yeah, evolution, is it a category of change or is it a mechanism?
Just evolution, it's a category of change. Just
okay,
evolution.
So any change in
but not the
anything.
theory of evolution by natural selection.
Oh,
Those are two different
oh,
things.
oh, they're different. Okay, so do you believe
And what do you want?
do you believe scientific theories require some prerequisite to call them scientific theories?
Like, they would have to meet the definition of a scientific theory to be a scientific theory, sure.
And there's things that are posited as scientific theories that aren't because they don't meet the criteria?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Are there any things that any examples of things posited as scientific theories that are actually pseudoscience because they don't meet the criteria of a scientific theory?
Of course.
Okay, so you agree that there's a
Anyone can
rigid.
posit something as a scientific theory.
Okay, so you hold that there's a rigorous criteria for what constitutes a scientific theory. Can you tell me what that is?
If there's a rigorous definition of it.
As long as it's defined, then it's rigorous.
If it's rigorously defined, I mean,
Yeah, is
what else
a
can it be?
is a scientific theory rigorously defined?
When did we start talking about the scientific theory method, my friend?
Yeah, is the scientific method rigorously defined?
I guess I've seen different versions of it.
Is there multiple versions of the scientific theory?
Yeah, I mean, like the way it's organized, but
Okay, can you tell us the most
before
common?
you have to ask a question or
Yeah, can you tell us the
But
root?
what does that have to do with?
Is
Do you think
evolution
that
a science?
scientific theories are listen? Do you think scientific theories are the result of going through the scientific method?
Yes.
No.
No, really? So
So
what
what-
are? Okay, cool.
I mean-
What? Okay, cool. So tell me what a scientific theory is then, if it's not something that's the result of the scientific method.
It's a well-supported explanation for a phenomenon in the natural world.
And how do you know that explanation is?
If you want, that's a
Okay,
textbook definition of it.
and how do
That's
you
the
know the?
definition in
I
every
understand,
biology textbook,
dude.
okay?
Stop it. How do you know the explanation is verifiable or null?
If it's verifiable or unfalsifiable, you mean?
Yeah. How do you
Or-
know? How do you test it?
Okay. You would compare it to evidence. I mean, you compare it to evidence.
You compare it to
and
evidence.
see if it holds up to the evidence.
What? Okay, so look, if we both observe the same phenomenon, and I say X is causing the phenomenon, you say Y is causing the phenomenon, what's the arbiter to determine whether either of us are right or one of us is right?
We would see the relationship between X or Y and whatever it caused or something.
And how do you establish the relationship? Is it by introducing X to a controlled environment and then removing X, and then introducing Y to the controlled environment and removing Y, and seeing which one actually produces the phenomenon? Would you say that's a arbiter for competing hypotheses?
That could be one way to find the relationship.
Is there
between
any?
those two things. Is that the only way? Is that the only way?
Is there any other way other
that the
than
only way?
I'm asking you? Is there any other way to arbitrate between two competing hypotheses other than an experiment?
Hold on. Yeah.
How? What is
yeah,
it?
it's a hypothesis, the statement. Yeah, two statements. Yes.
Tell me how. What's
But
the
not
other?
a scientific hypothesis. A scientific hypothesis needs to be backed up with experimentation.
Yeah, is evolution a scientific?
But listen, listen.
Dude. Is
These theories
evolution?
need to be confirmed by experiments.
Yeah, good. We agree now. So you went back
These
on
theories
your
need
previous
to be
claim.
confirmed by experiments.
Theories are the product of
You
experiments.
began with saying they did not need to be.
Third,
You believe that they need to be.
I told you from the start, theories are the product, only the product of an experiment through the scientific method. You said no.
And listen, every professor,
Every
fucking-
professor, that's a
every
fallacy.
academic would
You're
disagree
already,
with you on that.
you're a
That
fallacy.
scientific theories come
You
from the-
are a fallacy machine. That's not an argument. That's a fallacy.
that's the
Every
fallacy.
how did you determine what every professor said?
fallacy.
No, ask. You just made a claim. How did you determine what every professor says?
Oh, I guess I just use a bit of hyperbole then. I guess.
So you made it the fuck up, didn't you?
Oh, there's no source for that. There's no citation for that. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you that.
Yeah, it's just an unjustified statement. Okay, so if we agree
Really?
that,
So you think?
listen,
Go
stop,
find, go
stop
find a
spurging,
biology
stop
professor who
spurging,
says that
stop,
scientific theory is.
stop spurging. So look,
Stop swerving.
look,
Listen, stop swerving. Listen, go find a professor who
you're
says that
crashing out now.
scientific theories are the product of the scientific method alone. Go find a professor who says that.
Go find a professor who says the scientific theory needs to be the product of the scientific method.
Yes.
Is that what you're asking me? What, any professor? That's what you're going to do now? You're just one professor that just holds that view? Okay.
Biology, yeah.
Okay,
doctor in biology, yeah.
Okay, cool. So is evolution a scientific theory?
Evolution by natural selection is.
Okay. And what's the observation? Let's take it to the scientific method. What's the observation?
There's no observation in a theory.
There's no observation in a theory? So what are you making a theory about if it's not an observation?
Give me a scientific theory that has an observation.
A scientific theory that has an observation? I observe this. I'm answering your question. Ed, shut up. Don't ask a question, and then when I answer it, you talk over me. Give me one example of a scientific theory that's from an observation. Okay.
So you're just going to restate the question.
I'm going to make sure you understand that I understand your question. Shut up. I observe what I call the symptoms of scurvy.
So it's your time of month.
Shut up. I observe the symptoms of scurvy. I have a hunch. I have a question. What causes scurvy? I investigate what might be causing scurvy, either the introduction or the absence of introducing something to the human body, and see if it produces the symptoms of scurvy. I repeat that experiment. I introduce and remove what I believe to be the variable that's causing, the lack thereof is causing this symptom, right? I come to a scientific conclusion that's a theory that's inductive, an inductive likelihood claim that says the absence of this or the failure to preserve meat causes this, seems to be causing this symptom called scurvy. That's from an observation. Now, you tell me one scientific theory that's made without an observation.
Wait, I asked you for a scientific theory. You couldn't even name one.
I just gave you one. What causes scurvy is a scientific theory.
What causes scurvy is a scientific theory?
Yeah, there's something.
No,
yes, dude, how do you think we determine what causes scurvy if it wasn't a scientific theory, you twat?
Fucking medical experimentation, probably.
An experiment? Is that a scientific experiment?
Yeah, it was probably a scientific experiment.
You retard. You just contradicted yourself. Yeah, that's a scientific theory.
Where did I contradict myself? If you're going to use that language.
I'll tell you if you shut up for a second. You just said what determines the cause of scurvy wasn't dictated by the scientific method. And you said it was dictated by medical experiments. I said, are medical experiments scientific?
I just said it was found by us through medical experiments.
Are medical experiments scientific experiments?
Yeah.
So you just contradicted yourself.
No, I didn't.
You just said what causes scurvy wasn't determined. Dude, shut up. Shut up. You just said
and then
that.
You don't even care what people have to say then.
Stop crying. You just said that scurvy, what causes scurvy, wasn't determined by the scientific method.
Like the truth of the thing was determined by doing the experiment, or it was determined by
scientific
what actually happened?
What actually happened is they used a scientific experiment and controlled the environment
to find out.
The theory.
To discover it. Okay.
Yeah, the theory.
Okay, so
that's called the theory.
It wasn't determined; it was found out.
What? What did you say?
I mean,
what are you saying?
What do you think? Because that's not a scientific theory that X caused this.
It's not? What is it then?
It needs to be an explanation for a common natural phenomenon. I just disease.
Is a disease a natural phenomenon?
Yes.
You're a waste of time. You just contradict yourself over and over again, but you're too retarded.
Theory of atoms
you're too retarded to even know what you're saying.
Listen, here's a scientific theory: plate tectonics.
Okay, you observed that.
I bet you don't believe that one.
Okay, and you observed what?
What is the scientific method for us?
Yeah, what is the scientific method? Tell us.
Fucking you observe something, then you
Oh, you observe something. You just contradicted
and
yourself again. Go ahead.
when I how did I
You said
fucking
you don't.
contradict
You
myself?
you said you don't need an observation for a scientific theory. So go ahead. What's the
No,
scientific
I never
method?
said that. I
Okay. What's
never
the
said that.
What's the
Evolution by natural selection is
Okay.
the
And what's the
scientific theory.
observation? Let's take it to the scientific method. What's the observation?
There's no observation in theory.
There's no observation in a theory. So what are you making a theory about if it's not an observation?
Give me a scientific theory that has an observation. Then what would make plate tectonics a valid scientific theory?
Plate tectonics a valid scientific theory if you could reproduce
Yes.
the phenomenon. That's what would make it. That's an arbiter. That's what I'm saying. The arbiter for two competing hypotheses is experiment. So you have to be able to reproduce it. And the threshold at what a reproduction is might be in question. You might be able to say, like,
so if you do an
dude,
experiment a bunch of times, it makes a hypothesis a theory.
yes.
Not a bunch of times. You would have to reproduce it exactly as you're observing it.
Yes.
The problem with plate tectonics is the scale of it you can't reproduce. You would need to manufacture an
So it's
entire
not a
planet.
scientific theory.
No.
What? Yeah, no, it's not complete. You know, it's like it's at a scale. Like, hold on a second. There's a scale. Do you agree that there's a scale at which you can't manipulate an experiment?
Yeah, sure. I guess the size or something.
Okay. Would you say at that scale you have limited access to what your conclusion is going to be because of the scale?
I guess we have limited access to all information.
Yes, yeah. So that's why there might be a threshold of size, right? Scale of something.
But how is that different from any other threshold of size?
How is it?
Or something?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because if I said, do you believe that certain ingested things cause certain problems and maybe even death?
Yeah, I'll say I watched this guy eat a berry and then die. Sure.
Okay. And would you agree that in order to verify that as an inductive conclusion, you'd probably try to reproduce it at some scale?
To try to see if those berries kill people, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Is that a scientific experiment?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So is that required? Let's say there was two kinds of berries, and you were trying to distinguish which one actually caused what you were calling death. If it was the competing hypothesis was one berry versus the other, would you agree that the only way to arbitrate between the assumptions that one
What does
berry
this have to
caused?
do with-
Dude, shut up for a second.
I'm just asking.
Do you
okay?
shut up? Do you agree that in order to arbitrate between one person saying X berry causes the death and another person saying Y berry causes the death, do you agree that the only arbiter for figuring out which one is true would be an experiment?
And given, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, the only arbiter, the only thing to do is do a
What
science
else?
experiment.
What else could you do?
Have him eat like 40,000 X berries and one tiny piece of a Y berry, and see if he
That's
dies.
an
like
experiment.
in an hour or
That's an
fucking tomorrow.
experiment. That's an experiment.
But I didn't remove the Y one. I just used less of it.
You're still introducing a variable and removing a
I'm
variable.
changing it. No, I'm changing the variable.
Yeah, that's called an experiment. I asked you,
Okay,
is there
so
any
I'm not
other
removing the variable. I'm
dude?
changing the variable.
Is there any other way to arbitrate between?
You're trying to be rigorous. You're trying to
listen
say
to what I'm.
scientific theory-
Listen what I'm
scientific method
saying.
is rigorous,
Listen what I'm saying.
but you're not
Is there-
using rigorous
listen to my
definitions.
listen to my words coming out of my mouth.
Just simple logic. I mean,
Listen. You don't know logic. You don't know any logic.
oh shit.
What are the three laws of logic?
Fucking.
Okay, cool. So here's the
Obama
thing.
Was,
Yeah, cool. You don't know. So great. So when I say there's two competing hypotheses and they're trying to come up with a theory for a phenomenon. If there's two competing hypotheses, my question was, how can you arbitrate between the two competing hypotheses without an experiment? You said an experiment.
no, because you defined an experiment wrong. You said the removal of a variable.
You have
Or
to
the
introduce and
taking
remove
away of a
it.
variable.
You have to introduce and remove the variable.
No, you can
No,
just
you
change
don't.
the variable, and you can find. Can you not just change
Changing
the
the variable would be a type of removing it.
I guess if you don't care about the definitions of words, sure.
What word?
Is removing your house the same as changing it? Really, are you going to say that?
Yeah, it is, because
Changing
if
something is
look,
the same as removing it.
look, if you introduce a level of
How about you say if you alter the circumstances of the
unbelievable,
experiment?
man. You just can't even listen. So if you introduce a type of a magnitude,
You're horrible at listening.
listen. If you introduce a volume of poison, right? Changing the volume of the poison is changing the variable, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if I introduce 10 milligrams of poison and then I introduce 100 milligrams of poison, am I not, in a sense, removing the variable 10 milligrams with another thing called 100 milligrams?
Sure, I guess if you use that very
then
specific
shut up.
slang of the word that that no one would interpret the way
Cool.
you said
Do you
it,
think?
but
Do you
okay.
think random mutation produces a liver?
Oh, this is okay. It's not the only thing that produces a liver. There's also animals breeding, and then environmental pressures.
Animals breeding. Did they have livers, or they didn't have livers?
I'm pretty sure livers came after sexual.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
They came after what? Sexual what?
Sexual fucking variation, like male female.
Oh, did evolution, random mutation produce male and female separation?
I wouldn't call it random because random implies like some whatever then, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so you have a story that random mutation
and well, not just random mutation and environmental pressures.
The pressures told the organisms to splinter off into penis and vagina.
Yeah, they spoke in English. The pressures went down and spoke in English.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they were like, "Yes, I will."
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And so once you have male and female branching from non-male and female sexual reproduction, you're just granting yourself that from some process you can't explain. I'll grant it to you. Now that you have male and female populations.
I like how you're just assuming I'm assuming things when I never say I assume them, but okay.
Okay, cool. So you have male and female populations of liverless organisms. How is it that from the evolutionary view, how is it that population of male and female produces from random mutation a liver?
Okay. So first thing I want to say, the history of life is not fucking the same thing as the theory of evolution. So the history of life we could get that all out of order and have it all wrong, and the theory of evolution still could be true. By natural selection still could be true.
That's amazing. Nobody talked about the history of anything. We granted you populations of sex, male and female. And from your view, mechanically, you're saying biologically and genetically, what happens is yeah, that's what's in question. Okay. So tell me how random mutation from existing sexual partners, sexual selection is possible. I granted you populations and sexes. Tell me how evolution from the random mutation theory produces, or natural selection theory, produces a liver.
Okay. So let me explain it to you. All right. So livers, like the first livers developed like 500 million years ago, like in the first like terrestrial animals. All terrestrial animals have the same liver. And the same fucking
no,
dude. We can look in the
dude, stop it. I didn't ask for the assertion that it developed. I asked you, how did it develop?
I'm explaining.
You said 500 million years it developed. I said, how did it develop?
Okay, I'm just trying to give a fucking thorough answer. If you don't want to listen to it, okay. And then my point is that these animals were extremely like tiny. They were almost microbial. They were very tiny.
Okay. And then?
So, just a few proteins could act as a filter system, like the liver does for us today, and every other terrestrial animal which descends from it.
And then? So proteins get together. So the proteins get together and form a protoliver. Is that what you're saying?
I guess.
Can you tell me how a bunch of proteins that are unrelated to each other fuse together and form a type of protoliver? Mechanically, how does that happen?
Like how a bunch of proteins.
Yeah, you're assuming that happened, right? You're going to tell me how it happened, not that it happened in the beginning.
Well, how proteins in our body fuse together to become a liver. I mean,
I'm not granting you our body. We don't exist yet. I asked you, how did the liver form? And you say it formed.
Like how?
I don't understand, Jimbob. Why can't I just say it formed 500 million years ago? I don't get it. What's the problem?
A random mutation happened, and
it happened. A random mutation formed the liver. How do you know that?
Are you asking how it happened? So I'm just positing.
Yeah. How do you know a random mutation formed a liver?
Because we have livers today, and
because we have livers. You guys, we're doing science here, guys. Because we have livers today, we know 500 million years ago it formed.
Yeah, okay.
Because we have it to get. So begging the question. That sounds logical to you.
How do you know God produced you?
I'm not talking about God. Let's say God doesn't exist. Let's say God doesn't exist. It doesn't change the problem, bro.
You can just say you exist, and you also know the fact
it doesn't change the problem that you have. I know you're going to spurg into God. No, I'm granting God doesn't exist right now.
Proves that you exist.
No, I'm just
kill
gangster. What part of I granted you God doesn't exist right now? It doesn't move. It doesn't change the pickle you're in. I asked you, how do you know? How do you know 500 million years ago that a couple of proteins got together through random mutation and produced the first protoliver? How do you know that?
Because the proteins getting together is the mechanism through which all of our organs form.
That's an assertion. How do you know proteins got together through random mutation and formed the first liver?
I just said that's the way we observe all modern.
No, that's actually not true. How we see humans being formed.
Hold on,
shut up. One claim at a time. How we see us form is through existing forms that are human, and they come together and have sex, and they reproduce a very similar anatomical, phenotypical, genotypical structure that has all of the organs already in the body developing, right? That's not actually...
That produces...
Shh. No, shut up for a second. No, you shut up. No, shut your mouth for a second. I'm correcting you. I'm correcting you to that. Shut up, dude.
Nothing is correct.
I'm correcting you because what we see today are organisms with their organs intact, developed from sexes. That is produced from previous organisms that have those things, including vertebrates, including livers, hearts, lungs, filters, eyeballs, brains, and the rest of it. What I'm asking you is a different question that you're trying to skate away from, which is, if evolution is true, there was a time in which organisms in populations didn't have these specialized things, and that through random mutation and sexual selection, they produce these things. I simply ask you, how? And your answer in front of 500 people is, well, we know it happened because we had... What?
500 losers. I don't care if there's a million of them. Fuck it.
Wow. And so what you're telling people is that we know it happened 500 million years ago because we have them today.
And the theory is that all of these things occurred through random mutation and environmental pressure.
Okay, cool. When did you observe anything building a highly specialized functional thing like a liver through random mutation and selective pressure? When did you ever observe that?
I mean, what is your quality of highly specialized?
What? What is your quality of specialized? Eyes see, livers don't see, right?
If I give you a simple example and it's not highly specialized, how would you know?
What?
What's not highly specialized?
Do you agree that the liver has a function that filters toxins? Yes?
I mean, it does something.
Okay, great. Does it do a function called filtering toxins? Does it? Dude, stop getting squirrely. Does the liver filter toxins?
It performs a function, yeah.
Is the function
The function is not like tautological. It just does that because it's chemistry.
Is the function of the liver to process toxins?
It processes toxins, yes.
Thank you. Why is that so hard? Is the function of
its function is equivalent to
shut
processing
up,
toxins,
dude.
right?
Is the function of the kneecap processing toxins?
It does not process toxins.
Cool. Is there anything else?
But it does actually. The cells in the kneecap process toxins.
Hold on.
They don't do it for the body.
Is the liver a specialized thing in regards to its function?
It is different than other body parts, yes.
Okay, so it is specialized. So evolution, from your view,
every body part is different from every
I
other
get
body
it. Yeah.
part.
So your view is that evolution, there was a time in which populations didn't have these specialized appendages and mechanisms, and because there was a time where populations existed before these specialized mechanisms, the process that you call evolution, random mutation through natural selection, sexual selection, you're saying that that's the mechanism through which these things get produced and become their functioning, their ontology becomes functioning, right? We ask you a simple question.
Oh, their ontology. Where's
their ontology is their function.
So their ontology is just what happens, what physically happens.
What they do, where they are in relation to other organs.
So,
yes, that's their ontology. Their existence. How they exist is through their function, right? Even from your view.
So what is the purpose of tautology? It's just restating what, or ontology is just restating what?
The purpose is that
what happens physically.
Dude, the purpose is that you're having a process called evolution that produces function. Sure. Dude, shut up for a second.
Sure.
The purpose is, the reason I'm bringing it up is that the nature of a liver and what it does is given by its function in the body. But if it's true from the evolutionary view that there was a type of body, the most ancient version didn't have a liver, didn't have a heart, didn't have a mind, didn't have eyes, didn't have all these things, it follows that the process that you're appealing to must produce these things, correct?
The process and the circumstances in which the process occurred, yes.
Yeah, that's the process. Process happened in a circumstantial...
No. The process is just the name for the specific... I mean,
oh my gosh, dude.
I'm not trying to quibble over
yes, you
whatever
are.
This is.
You're trying to just get out of the fact that if you agree with premise one, that the process of evolution, however you want to describe it with your words, is the thing that mechanistically produces these hyper-specialized things like a liver and the eye and the heart and the brain, all of these things, the metabolism, the intestines, the anus, all of it is doing something that has a function. From your view, it's a very easy thing to say yes to. From your view, evolution, the process of evolution, produced over time, produced these individual appendages that do specific things. Yes?
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
In that way, I guess.
Okay,
The way you
so
in the fucking
that's right.
Long way, you said.
Yeah, great. So if you're holding the view, which is your positive assertion, that a process you're referring to as evolution, whatever the mechanism is, you're saying that that process produces things like the liver and the eyes. It's fair for me to ask, how does it do that?
Like, what do you mean how? Like the relationship between...
How? What do you mean how?
Like,
the mechanism A produces all of these other mechanisms after a long period of time through random mutation and environmental pressures, right? I ask you, how does it actually happen? How does that happen? And you're like, what does how mean?
Oh, okay, so...
What does how mean?
How it happens in evolution is that organisms with... organisms that have a feature that stops them from propagating do not result in that their genes being less prevalent in the environment.
So organisms that don't have an
and
advantage
that
die.
Causes, huh?
So wait a second. The statement that organisms that don't have survival advantages die off? That's your explanation of how they grow a liver?
Yes, and organisms that have traits that result in more advantageous things that result in more propagation are able to spread their genes more.
Okay, that's great. So when I say, how does this process produce a liver that's hyper specialized in what it does, I ask you, how does this happen? And you say, well, if you can't survive, then you die.
No,
that's how a liver gets produced. If you don't, that's exactly that's literally what you just said.
If you can't survive, you die. Is that the thing I said?
How does the process produce a liver?
Survive,
I didn't say I didn't.
Population.
Dude, I didn't ask if it would be an advantage to produce a liver. I agree, it would be. I asked, how does the mechanism produce the liver? I didn't ask if it's an advantage to have a liver.
How does the random mutation produce the liver?
That's right.
Or produce something like the liver?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but can you grant one thing? I know you're going to fucking say it, but you have to grant this. But how about you grant that there's a system in
a proto-liver
organisms before, listen.
A proto-liver.
Before the liver is created.
You mean a proto-liver?
Cellular organisms that produces proteins.
Okay. So grant me the liver.
For the body, that produces proteins for the body.
Gotcha. So grant me a liver.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
There's a change in the genetic code of.
When is there a genetic code change?
Huh?
What do you mean? Have you ever observed a fundamental change in the genetic code? Are we talking about epigenetics here, or what?
Like, not in every population. I'm just talking about a specific organism right now.
Okay. Hold on. We need to clarify something. Are you talking about evolution, a change in the sequence of the DNA, or are you talking about epigenetics? Which are you talking about right now? Do you even know?
What's epigenetics?
Yeah, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Go on.
We're just okay. There's a change in the codons of the DNA. You get that, and then. That results in a different protein being created in the ribosomes, I think, and distributed in the body. And the protein is shaped differently and has a different function.
And the body being something that doesn't have any appendages yet, right?
Doesn't have any.
Yeah. Doesn't have anything. Like when we refer to a body right now, we're referring to a thing that has a big dynamic system of individual mechanisms that work together but also specialize their own function in the body. But we're talking about a past here where you granted yourself a protoliver and a protein, right? A type of organism or an aspect of an organism that somehow reacts to toxins, right? You're granting yourself that very simple form of a protoliver.
I'm assuming there's other organs in this animal.
Even if I granted you a protoliver magically by fusing proteins and other things together where it suddenly has a reaction to toxins, you still need to tell me the process through random mutation and sexual selection in which that thing improves in its capability and its function.
So how can a random mutation result in a physical change?
No, changes isn't what's in question. What's in question is, tell me how the changes, you make the leap from mere changes to hyper specialized and increased effectiveness, in this case, the liver, filtering toxins. How do you jump from mere changes to highly effective, increased efficacy of toxin filtering?
Because those changes are to structural elements.
That doesn't tell me how it becomes more effective at it. Why is the direction toward more... Look, I'll ask in a different way. Why is the directionality of random mutation toward more efficiency?
Because the more efficient ones propagate more.
No, dude, that's an accident. It doesn't produce efficiency. No, dude, that's not even the held view of evolution, by the way. Evolution doesn't hold...
propagate more?
No. Evolution doesn't hold that because you will be more successful, you develop successful things. It shows post hoc. It post hoc, what it argues is that accidental advantages develop, and because they were advantageous, they survived. They didn't develop them because they're advantages. They survived because. I
never said that. Do you think I said that?
I said why does the direction of random mutation produce higher efficacy?
Oh, it doesn't always. Did I say random mutation always produces higher efficacy?
Okay, so tell me where an animal.
So where hear things in your head.
Okay, cool. Where are the undeveloped livers?
Where?
Yeah.
That we observe today?
Yeah, obviously, if random mutation is true and natural selection is true, the things in vertebrates that you see that are peculiar to vertebrates called livers and other things, they're highly specific and specialized. From your view, there should be at least 1 or 2 random mutations, which produces a consistency of an altered version of a liver. That's not what we know the liver to be.
A consistent, like a liver that is the same as the
liver that's. Well, no, not even the same as a protoliver, just a developed in the wrong direction liver.
And is around today?
Yeah.
Why must that be true? That could be.
It would be likely to be true. Why, dude?
How do you know that?
Well, because if based on the
likelihood claim for,
we're talking about likelihoods, right? We're talking about likelihoods. By the way, likelihood.
Okay, so how is it likely that something original like that would survive?
The likelihood.
Because your whole position relies on random mutations, and you don't see those today.
Yeah, it relies on random mutations.
Today? You see no random mutations today?
Would you give us an example of a randomly mutated liver right now?
Yeah.
Did I say there's random?
Give us. Wait. Let's do this even better. Give us any example of a random mutation.
Do you know what a mutation is?
Yeah, just tell us what. Give us an example of a random mutation.
You have a mutation. I have a mutation.
Tell me an example of a random mutation, dude.
Fucking sickle cell would have to be.
Is that random? How did you determine it was random?
I mean, there's no way to determine. There was no. I mean, you can't determine that something is perfectly random.
Okay,
I mean, there's a cause behind everything.
Interesting. So your entire view holds the view that random mutation produces new genetic sequences that not just a new genetic sequence, but it renders the processing of new appendages that increase in their effectiveness. That claim, nowhere in this conversation was that claim ever defended to any reasonability.
What?
What? Yeah.
By the way, you brought up sickle cell as a random mutation. How is that a random mutation? It's a very common disease and it's been around for centuries.
It's not novel.
Talking about random. Random compared to what? You're just saying that a thing happened and therefore it's random? Yeah. That's your definition of random.
The genetic code changed.
There's never been an example of a mutation that renders the entire sequence completely new. It would collapse if there's some new sequence entered into it.
I never said it changed a single codon. That we know which codon changed in the sickle cell.
Yeah, let me grant that, but why is that random? How do you know that wasn't designed?
Caused by God. I don't know that God didn't do it. I mean, it was caused by some physical event.
Very good. You've eliminated God, so now all of the things you say are proof.
I have no idea.
So you have sickle cell, but you're saying this is a random mutation. Random versus what? Do we have developed lightning bolts that shoot out of our antennas or something? What are you talking about random?
Yeah, also
what you just said was random.
Blood cells, if they developed a certain way that they could have a disease or an alteration, I'll grant you that, but you're not getting random mutations. We're not like electric eels where we all of a sudden develop the ability to shock our prey. We have very specialized occurrences.
Well, what is a mutation? Just tell me. I mean,
and what is, by the way, is the mutation? Look, dude, we don't believe in a random anything. There's no such thing as random. You can't even observe randomness, so we don't even accept. It's your terminology in your worldview. It's an internal critique We don't tell you things we don't define random mutation if we reject even the term random is observable. Do you understand?
I think random means, in that context, occurring without like
Without what?
obvious input from outside. Like you
You
can't
don't.
determine.
No, you don't know that though. That's the point. Is that what's the outside? Your whole view is that the outside world does influence genetic mutation, dude. Is your view that dude? Shh.
It has the word random. I mean,
bro,
it's obvious what it means.
Bro,
it means something.
No. Look, isn't your view that the outside world called the environment influences and selects? That's a selective pressure.
Yes.
So is it random or not?
I don't believe in randomness. Or
cool.
I mean,
congratulations. You're
but you
closer to the
use
truth.
like you're gonna have to define randomness because it obviously has a different definition from what they use.
You've been using random this whole time.
Yeah.
Like is
What's
the
your
throw of the dice
definition of
random? The throw of the dice random, or is it?
The dice.
So
So not random.
what's the possibilities? What's
That's
the
not
list
random.
of
Why is that not
possibilities?
random?
Yeah. What's the possibilities?
What's the list of possibilities?
There's only one possibility once you throw it out of your hand.
No.
So a
genetics.
one-sided dice. You know what a one-sided dice is?
No,
That's design. That's certainty. It's the dumbest thing I've heard today.
all right, a six-sided die.
Yeah. Okay. So
that
back.
random?
Tell me what the 6 options are.
Yeah, you already know,
But is
right?
that random?
I'll give you an example. Black Panthers. Do you know what a Black Panther is?
The people or the
Am I
cat?
still able to be heard? Yes, a Black Panther is an occurrence in many cat species where their fur only develops as black, such as a leopard or a cheetah. Okay? Which one is the mutation? When they occur as a Black Panther or when they occur as a spotted cat?
The mutation is the one that is different from the parent organisms.
Okay, but that parent organism is a mutation by your by your logic.
Yep. Even the
Yeah,
even the
every
checkered even the
organism
no
is
no
a
but
mutation.
even the group of the ones
Every
that are
organism is
quote
a
normal.
mutation.
I know, dude. That's the point. Is that you don't even have a distinction between anything. You just say everything's a mutation,
what do you-
right? Everything is. So like let me
I
tell
think
you,
everything's
is
mutation. Every organism
is sickle
mutation.
cell
Right.
is sickle cell advantageous or disadvantageous in the evolutionary paradigm on net balance?
Well, it is advantageous to prevent
And
mosquitoes from giving you diseases.
okay, and it's
which is advantageous
disadvantageous.
in, like, listen, it's advantageous in like West Africa.
Okay, so it's not objectively advantageous in the long scheme of things.
I mean, what is objectively advantageous?
I'm
mean?
asking you, under evolution, is there any such thing as
That's
true
assuming an objective.
Dude, let me ask the question. Under the evolutionary view, is there anything that's objectively advantageous or disadvantageous?
Well, yeah, that which advantageous means spreading your genes, and disadvantageous means preventing the spread of your genes.
Spreading your genes is advantageous?
The definition of advantageous.
Can spreading your genes be disadvantageous?
Uh,
What if you have bad genes?
no,
Terrible
not in
genes.
evolution.
Okay, cool. So if spreading your genes is always advantageous under evolution, if there's a population on a plot of land that has limited resources, is it an advantage to multiply or a disadvantage?
It's advantageous to advantageous to what?
Dude, you just
Like,
said
the
what
survival of the population or
dude,
the spread of that
it's
gene?
just unbelievable. So if you define advantageous as spreading your genes, right? That's advantageous. Whatever leads you to spreading your genes is an advantage. That is to say that spreading your genes itself is an advantage. If you take
For
a
your
population,
genes, yes.
dude,
It's
if
advantageous for your genes.
God,
Yes.
dude, oh my gosh, dude, genes are there's an advantage to the thing called a gene.
To its existence in the environment, yeah.
Okay, so the gene itself is at an advantage for the multiplication, like through the multiplication of
Yeah, now it exists in more places.
Hold on. If there is a group of populations and their genes are, let's say, wolves or something, and they're on an island and they have limited resources, right? Food and everything else. How is it an advantage to the genes to multiply in that instance? Isn't that the end? Isn't that possibly the end of their gene line to multiply?
I guess in that very specific instance where they overpopulate.
Yeah. Do we see overpopulation in nature right now?
It's advantageous in the short term, but not in the long term, you would say.
So it's arbitrary based on your post. Yeah, this is our point. Yeah, this is our point. Dude, this is our point.
This is our point.
You need a human post hoc rationalization for what's deemed advantageous, which means that there is nothing under the evolutionary view in the process itself that's advantageous or disadvantageous. What you're doing is you're taking a human view and you're taking hold on.
It's
stop.
advantageous to an
Dude,
injecting.
Stop. All you're doing is taking
all
a
the
human
would be advantageous
all
to
you're
the
doing,
population.
dude,
But it'd be disadvantageous to the wolf population.
All you're doing is arbitrarily defining what advantage is based on an arbitrary timeline that you craft yourself. It's all made up.
No, I'm just saying something that is advantageous to the existence of a gene is that.
How would you not? How would you know?
The gene.
How would you know long-term, short-term if you don't have access to long-term time? If something's advantageous or not? You don't.
It's advantageous in the short term or the long term. You would just say that. I mean,
you don't know. That's
differentiating between like a long term benefit and a short term.
Yeah. When does a long term benefit kick in? Is it 3 years, 10 years?
I mean,
Why does it matter? Yeah, you co-parter. Yeah. Do you think this went well for you today?
Do you think your life has gone well? You're fucking a political cartoonist.
What does my life have to do with
You'll get published
the question? I am published. I'm nationally published. What are you talking about?
Shit, nationally.
The question was, do you think you did well today?
I don't give a fuck what you think I did. I know I did better.
I asked you what you think. I didn't say what I think.
I just told you I did better than you.
So you think you did well today?
I don't give a damn what you think I did.
I asked what you think. How do you think you did? That has nothing to do with what I think. What do you think you did?
Gone well. Rolling on the floor.
Well, how do you think you did?
The cope.
How do I think I did?
How do you think you did? Yes.
Oh, this is run of the mill. I've done this 1,000 times.
So good.
I did just fine. Just fine. Just fine.
You don't even believe in climate change, dude.
Climate change? Are you actually now going to talk about climate change?
Yeah, you don't fucking believe.
I do. What are you talking about? I believe climate always changes. What are you talking about?
Okay, do you believe it's changing to get warmer and fucking worse?
It has done and has gone. It's climate changed to colder too in the past. So what's your point? The climate always has changed, even went up and down without carbon.
But do humans have no effect on
dude,
climate?
Dude, let me. Are you listening? Hey, Robert, listen to what I'm saying.
Oh, so I guess
let's get back to science. If it's the case that what you're assuming is caused by humans, the same effect happened before humans had the capacity to influence it. How do you
accept? They have no capacity to influence.
Dude, right? Listen to what I'm saying, dummy. If it's the case where a time existed in which the current scenario, the circumstances that you're saying is caused by humans, if there was a scenario in the past that existed with the same circumstances, same conditions, that wasn't produced by humans, how are you going to determine whether or not we're causing this if it happened in the past without us? How do you determine
You can look into the isotopes of the carbon in the air.
Dude,
you can see that there are different isotope readings from like.
Dude, how do you determine that humans produce the conditions that already existed before humans influenced them?
How do we determine that humans created stuff that were before humans?
Dude, there's a phenomenon that exists called increased global temperature, decreased global temperature, and the rest. By the way, they used to call it global warming, and they changed that because it was retarded. So they said climate change in general.
That's just a stupid lie you guys make up.
No, that's actually true. How old are you?
20.
Yeah, you're 20, so you don't know. I'm 44, so we all remember. No,
that's a fucking old ass man fallacy.
No. We remember when
the old ass man fallacy. That's not justified.
No, I'm telling you that you weren't around when the first cascade of climate alarmism happened and when they promised the end of the world. You weren't around then.
that was just some crazy people. That probably wasn't most scientists. Do you think
No,
most
it was
scientists
Al
came back from
Gore
the
with the
wars and-
entire. No, it was
Okay,
Al
so
Gore.
Al Gore, the
Shh.
scientist.
Al Gore with the backing of the
You
entire
don't have access
scientific.
to scientists, dude.
Dude, you're such an idiot. Al Gore in the entirety of the climate science arena, the entirety of it. Same climate, same
Said that
cult.
the world is going to end in 40 years.
Same,
They
yeah,
said-
same cult, same
No,
claims.
they didn't. They said
Yes,
it's
they-
going to end
yes,
in
they-
40 years.
They said it was, yeah, they said it was worse. I think I have to look it
That
up.
the
But
whole Earth is going to be flooded in 40 years.
yeah, they said all of New York was going to
No,
be
they-
underwater.
In 40 years.
I think less. They said
Oh, they said it's going to be New York is going to
10. I think they said. I think
that.
they said
You think
10.
started even
that-
before. It started even
You
before.
think
Al
Al
Gore.
Gore said that? Come on.
What? No, dude, you don't even know. Just look it up. What the climate alarmists were saying around the time of Al Gore before you were
I'm
born.
sure some people were saying crazy stuff, but that is
No, not some people. The entire cult that was trying to levy that on us and try to influence policy. Dude, you're not listening, dude. Dude, you're not listening. What happened? The same thing you're experiencing today was already experienced by us. They did the same thing to us, and they said that New York and Miami, they're all going to be underground and underwater, and it's going to be crazy in 10 years if we don't stop this, if we don't move away from oil and all the same fucking shit, dude. And nothing happened.
Some people said that. But do you
No,
think all these
not some
said that?
people,
You think all the
dude.
scientists-
Unbelievable, dude. All right,
Okay, but whatever.
I gotta prep for my my next stream at 3:30.
Yeah, you got
but
to take your prep. I get that.
I gotta what?
You got to. Are you taking prep still, or
Taking what?
are you
Are
still
you
taking your
desperately
prep?
trying to insult him? Just shut up, dude. Let him
What are,
exit
you,
his
what are you
stream.
saying, dude? I don't know what you're rambling about. Anyway,
Or just
so
take your
yeah,
prep and make sure, boy.
what? Now at least I know you're 20-year-old, so at least you're acting appropriate to your age, I guess.